Hi guys! Today I'm making a cake and I want to share the complete recipe for the cake, so how I make the base of the cake, the filling, and then how I decorate it. This recipe was requested by one of my Instagram followers and I hope all of you will like it. The cake base and the apple compote is from this book by Linda Lomelino. She is my favorite Instagrammer and I have two of her books and I love both of these books. So if you don't have her book, I would really recommend to buy it, especially if you like baking cakes and baking all different kind of stuff, because all of the recipes that I have tried have been amazing. And also if you like food photography and you want some inspiration, check her out on Instagram. So let's get started. So I will start with mixing the sugar with eggs. So I have here brown sugar and the regular sugar, and then I'm adding 3 eggs. I will be mixing it until the mixture is light and foamy. So the mixture is looking nice. Now I will be adding the melted butter. So you need to melt the butter and let it cool. And then I'll continue mixing for a little. Now I will sift the dry ingredients into my sugar and eggs mixture. Oops. You don't want that to happen. So there. When you sift the flour, it gives more airiness to the batter. So don't be lazy. Sift the flour into the mixture. And then I'll just fold it in. So get all the flour mixed with the egg and sugar mixture. That's mixed in. Looks like this. And then I have some pureed apple here, so I'll mix that in as well. And also I have some grated apple, which I'm also mixing in. I've drained some water of the grated apple so that it doesn't add any extra liquid to the batter. And then you just want to mix that all in as well. So that's mixed. I don't want to mix too much. Then I have a 20 centimeter cake form that I've buttered. In the recipe, Linda is using a 15 centimeter form, so you can use that, and then you just need 2 and then the cake will be higher. But I've tried this recipe before with the 20 centimeter one and it worked well, so I'm using the 20 centimeter tin, and I'm just gonna transfer the butter. Now I'll bake it in the oven for about an hour, and then I'll check how the cake looks. While the cake bakes, you can make the apple compote. I'll put the apples in the pot, and then I will be using this, in Germany we have this Gelierzucker, which is the special sugar to make jams, but you can also use just regular sugar like Linda does in her recipe. And then I'll add the water. apples for about 10 to 15 minutes, so they just become slightly soft, and then you can leave this aside in a bowl or jar until you will use it. I baked the cake base yesterday and I've stored it in the fridge. So I've wrapped it in some cling film and let it cool down. I prefer to use my cake bases on the next day, so I always bake them a day before. So here is the cake base, and I will be cutting it with this tool that I have. So I'll check. I'll be cutting it on the lowest one. So I'll have some thin layers. Now you just need something where you want to put the cake on. I'm using this thing that is meant for lifting cakes. You can also use a cutting board if you want. I'll take the top layer, place it there, and then I'll put the cake ring around. And you want the cake ring to sit tightly. Then I have here quark. Then also something that I prepared yesterday, the apples, which I will be adding here as well. But just now I'll add some of the liquid. If you can see, there's some liquid left from the apples. So it's like a syrup. Be adding 1 tablespoon. So I don't think it's too much. So I want to have enough for 2 layers. Then I think I need at least 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'll just add 1, and then I'll mix everything else in, and then I will try if it's sweet enough for me, and then I'll add more if I need. You should also taste, because people have different kind of sweetness levels, and you might not like the amount of sugar that I add. It might not be enough for you, so I recommend for you to taste. Always taste when you're making something. So that's it. Then I have here whipped cream that I've whipped already. I've whipped it until stiff. So I'm mixing that in. Combine the quark with the cream. And then you want to add half of the apples, because I'm making 2 layers. So half of the apples go in here. Okay, so I think that's about half. And then I'll mix it again. And now I have everything in there, so I'm gonna taste. Another tablespoon of sugar. So I've added 2, but that's all I'm gonna add, because the apples are quite sweet and the cake base is very sweet, so I'm not gonna add more. I have gelatin leaves that I've soaked and drained the water here, and now I'll be mixing some hot water in and then mixing it with the Quark-Cream. So usually I add just 2, and then I see how it melts. So you need to add boiling water. I don't remember if I said that. And another one. So you want all of the gelatin to be melted. Like here, you can see it's all liquid. Now you want to take 1 tablespoon from this quark mix and mix it in here. This cools the liquid slightly, and then you just pour it in there. And mix it in. I want to mix fairly fast so that it doesn't start to, oops, it doesn't start to harden. But usually with this kind of mixture that doesn't happen. So now it's all mixed in. You don't need to worry that the mixture is quite liquid-like. It will harden because of the gelatin. And now I'm gonna pour it over the cake base. Then you can even it out a little because the apples tend to go in one place, so you can do like this and then they go round. Then you want this layer to set a little before you start making the next layer on top of it. If you look now, when I shake the mixture, I can see it's not as liquid anymore, so I can continue and make the next layer. So I'm taking the cake base and I'll put it on top. I want to press it so that it's nicely over the cream layer, and then I'll just pour the second layer cream over. Again, you want to spread the apples a little bit so they're more evenly spread. I will put the last layer of cake base on top of that after it's set, and the last layer goes on top. So I could use this side, but I like how this side looks, it's more even, so I'll put it like this on top. And don't worry if the cream starts to spill a little bit, it's no problem at all. Again, lightly press it so that it's attached to the cream, and then you want to cover the cake with cling film. And you need to leave it in the fridge for at least, I would say, 4 hours, but it's better to leave it overnight so the cream sets and the cream layer is stiff enough before you start decorating. And now to make the meringue buttercream, I have egg whites here with some sugar. I have a thermometer set to 65 Celsius, and I have some hot water. I'm gonna place the egg whites on the water, and I want to keep them here so it's not really called cooking, because you just want to warm up the mixture, but I want it to sit here until it reaches 65 Celsius degrees, and I want to mix it all the time so it doesn't start to cook. Start to prepare the buttercream, you want to take some butter into room temperature so it has time to come to room temperature. Now you can either mix the egg whites with a hand mixer, or you can do as I do and transfer it into a standing mixer. And now you want to whisk the egg whites on high setting until the sides of the bowl are cool. So now it feels warm because the egg whites are really warm. So we want to keep mixing until they become cool. Now if I touch the bowl here, it doesn't feel warm anymore. And the egg whites are starting to look like a meringue. And now I will be adding the butter to the egg whites, and I will continue mixing. Here I will show you the different stages of how the buttercream mixes, because when I was making it the very first time I thought I ruined the buttercream, and actually every time I make it now, I still feel like it's gone bad, so I've ruined it, but you just want to keep on mixing. So I'll be sharing those stages to show you how it looks and what it means, and then I will show you how it should look at the end. So now I will start whisking on low, on the slow setting, adding the butter, and then I will turn it on high. Now I've been mixing the buttercream for about 5 to 10 minutes, and this is how it started to look like. This is the moment where I started to panic when I was making this first time. I looked and it looked like it's curdled, and I was really worried that now it's ruined. But what we are going to do, we are going to turn the mixer on and continue mixing. Just only a minute from the last not picture, but the moment I showed to you, this is how it looks like. So this is how you want the buttercream to look like. So there's my buttercream ready for use. Now I will be unpacking the cake. To open my cake ring, and with a knife I want to go around the cake so I can release it. You can see the cake layers looking beautiful, and the cream has set. Now I want to remove the cake crumbs around the cake and clean the top a little bit, also from the crumbs. If you would be making your cake a specific color, you would color the buttercream while mixing at the very end. I'm making my cake, actually I haven't decided yet which color, so I'm gonna make the crumb coat with just this white plain buttercream. So I want to start with the crumb coat, so a very thin layer of the buttercream on the cake, and clean the, what is this called, spatula, I don't know. Clean it every time after you've coated so the crumbs stay there. That's it. Now you want to place the cake in the fridge for about 10 minutes so the coat gets hard, and then you can continue with the next layer. The weather has decided to try to change our plans a little, but I hope the light is not too bad. It's raining cats and dogs outside, but we'll try to finish with this cake. So now I'll be removing the cake from anywhere you had it. So I had it on this cake lifter. If you had it on the cutting board, then just remove it from there. So I go under the cake with the spatula like this, and then I have here a cake paper, or I don't know how it's called. So I'm just lifting the cake on top of this, trying to look that it goes in the center. Almost in the center, but I don't mind, not too bad. Then I've prepared my buttercream with which I want to cover the cakes. I decided to go ombre and make an ombre cake, so I've prepared 3 different shades of blue buttercream, and I've put them in a piping bag, but you can also spread the buttercream with the spatula if you want. This is first time I'm trying this, but I hope it works. I'm gonna try with a spoon to make this wavy figure on the sides. What I'm gonna try to do here on top, I'm gonna put some of the buttercream and try to make this sea looking shape. So again, some waves. So just with the leftover buttercream, I've made this wave there, and I've crumbed some cookies, some butter cookies that I will be spreading on top of this part to make it look like a beach. I've also bought some paper umbrellas that I will be placing on the cake. So being a little bit lazy and not making this from fondant, but I think this will do. Here is the ombre holiday cake with some waves. So a simple decoration idea, but a great look. Thank you for watching my video. Bye bye until next time.